Welcome to the first Call of Duty Nintendo Switch video I have made in a good couple of months. I have been getting quite a lot of questions from you guys asking me, Snorf, when are you going to talk about Call of Duty for the Switch again? And the reason why I haven't made a video in a couple of months is simply because there hasn't been anything to talk about, and I didn't see the point in just making the same videos over and over again talking about the same stuff. But what I did say in one of those videos probably is that in September I will make a video talking about what is happening next for Call of Duty on the Switch. I said if we get to September and we hear nothing in terms of Call of Duty, then that is it. We will not see a Call of Duty game come out for the Switch this year. Just because previous years, basically Call of Duty Ghost got announced for the Wii U in August, and or August 2013 I should say. Pretty much every single Call of Duty game that did come out for a Nintendo platform, it got announced around about August, September time. So that is why I decided to wait until September and see what is happening pretty much. And I think we now know what is happening in terms of Call of Duty. We already know that this year's Call of Duty will not be coming out for the platform, sadly. So I don't really feel like it is a big loss, to be completely honest. Having played the beta, or the beta, however you want to pronounce it, I didn't really feel like this year's Call of Duty is as good as what people make it out to be. I think people are bigging it up just because it is a boots on the ground Call of Duty experience. But if you put that Call of Duty experience up against the other boots on the ground Call of Duties, then for me, I think it is the worst one of the lot. I actually do prefer Call of Duty Ghosts, believe it or not, than this year's Call of Duty. So yeah, we already knew that this year's Call of Duty isn't coming out for the Switch, but I always said that maybe Modern Warfare Remastered would come instead. Kind of like in the year of Modern Warfare 2 when that came out on the PS3 and Xbox 360, the Wii got Call of Duty 4, so maybe Activision would do something similar with Modern Warfare Remastered. But I think if Modern Warfare Remastered was coming out for the Switch, I think it would have featured in the recent Nintendo Direct that we just had. So I think it is safe to say that Call of Duty will not be coming out for the Switch this year. By the way, I think Activision are completely missing the trick by not releasing a Call of Duty game this year. They could have beaten the competition by releasing Modern Warfare Remastered in November. They could have beaten everybody to the punch and groomed the Switch audience to their franchise. They could have got the Switch audience to like Call of Duty because it was going to be the first first person shooter to come out. It would have come out in November probably. That Modern Warfare Remastered, it probably would have come out a month before Doom is supposedly coming out. Activision could have beaten the competition, and because there was no competition like first person shooters on the Switch, there's just no competition at this moment in time, then people, they may have, instead of waiting for Doom, they might have decided to pick up Modern Warfare Remastered for the Switch instead. So I think Activision, they have completely missed a trick by not releasing a Call of Duty game this year. Or maybe they couldn't, maybe it was too late for them to release a Call of Duty game this year, and that is what I will be talking about later on in this video. By the way, do not sleep on Doom when it comes out, because if a lot of people pick up Doom, then it will send out a message not only to Bethesda but to other developers and companies that develop first person shooters like Activision, like EA, like Blizzard. If Doom sells well, then that will send out a message that there is an audience on a Nintendo platform for this genre. Now, that is not the only reason why I will be picking up Doom. I will be picking up Doom mainly because I had a blast playing the beta, however you want to pronounce it. I had a blast playing it, had really good fun playing the multiplayer. I have heard really great things about the single player. So, that is the reason why I will be picking up Doom. But if a lot of people do pick up Doom on the Switch, then it will send out a message to companies like Activision that maybe if they bring over a game like Call of Duty, if Blizzard brings over Overwatch, then there is an audience for that sort of game on a Nintendo platform. So I guess, it shouldn't be that way, but because on Nintendo platforms, first person shooters haven't really sold that well, if Doom sells well, then that will send out a really big message to third party companies. So yeah, like I said, I think it is safe to say that Call of Duty will not be coming out for the Switch this year. So what I will be asking in this video is, what is next for the series? What is next for the franchise? Will the franchise come out for the Switch? That is what we'll be asking in this video. So pretty much what I will be doing now is just covering the two main things that I have been hearing in terms of Call of Duty for the Switch. If you want to hear every single Call of Duty Nintendo Switch rumour that has been knocking about over the past few months, then I would suggest for you to click on my channel name, Snorf93. It will take you to my main channel page. Scroll down to my Call of Duty Nintendo Switch series playlist, and that will feature every single one of the rumours that have come out this year, including the two rumours that I will be talking about in a couple of minutes. So pretty much the first thing that I will be talking about is that Beanox, they have a Switch dev kit. I think it is safe to say that, just because they posted a picture on their Twitter account of a Mario question block, and we have heard from other developers out there that the Switch dev kit came in a Mario question block. And then Beanox, they then posted a job advert, and on that job advert image they had a Mario question block in there, as well as some job titles for that project. I think that is for the Switch. I think they are working on a Switch game. Now we don't know whether that is Call of Duty or not. Maybe it is a completely different franchise for the Switch. Maybe it is the Crash remake for the Switch. Who knows? We just don't know at the moment. But I think it is safe to say that Beanox, they are working on a Switch game. And that leads nicely into the next thing I've heard in terms of Call of Duty on the Switch. So what I have heard is that Beanox, they were apparently working on an exclusive spin-off Call of Duty game for the Switch, sort of like Call of Duty Declassified, that came out on the PS Vita, but unfortunately it got cancelled. Now we don't know what happened to Beanox after that. I had a fear that maybe Beanox got dragged in to help on this year's Call of Duty, but it has been confirmed that Beanox are not working on this year's Call of Duty. Pretty much Raven Software and Sledgehammer Games, they are the only two developers working on this year's Call of Duty. Raven Software and Sledgehammer, they are co-developing the PC version. Sledgehammer are developing the PS4 and Xbox One versions on their own. So Beanox, they aren't a part of developing this year's Call of Duty. So maybe they are still working on this Switch project. Maybe they are working on Treyarch's next Call of Duty game. So pretty much what I will be talking about now is, will Call of Duty 2018 come out for the Switch? And basically, I've heard nothing. I've literally heard nothing since my last video. What I will be talking about now is just my theory, and this will be the last video I will make on this topic until I hear anything, until I hear any rumour. Just because I don't see the point in making the same video time and time again. So this will be the last Call of Duty video I will probably make in 2017. I will not be making any more Call of Duty Switch videos until any rumours start knocking about. So this is pretty much my theory that I currently have at this moment in time. So I think Beanox are working on a Call of Duty game for the Switch, and I think it is Treyarch's next Call of Duty, which is rumoured to be a Modern Warfare sort of game. Apparently it will be a modern shooter, which definitely I'm looking forward to checking out from Treyarch. I think they are working on that game. I think it is taking Beanox a couple of years to port over that game to the Switch. I think Activision, they would have liked to have got out a Call of Duty game in 2017, but I think between the time that they got a dev kit in July 2016 and when the Switch came out, it came out in 2017, I think they would have liked to have got out a Call of Duty game, but that sort of time frame was too short to port over the Call of Duty engine to actually start making a Call of Duty game for the Switch and then to start working on this year's Call of Duty. So I think Activision, they might have given Beanox an extra year to port over the Call of Duty engine so that moving forward they can easily start porting the next Call of Duty games for the Switch. I think the Call of Duty engine would have needed to been ported over to the Switch before Beanox actually started working on porting over a Call of Duty game. That's just what I'm currently thinking at this moment in time. I think that sort of process would have needed to have happened before Beanox started working on a Call of Duty game. And I think by them having an extra year to do that, I think now they can actually port over Treyarch's next Call of Duty for the Switch. Or maybe something like this happened. Maybe Activision, they gave Switch dev kits to Beanox and then they allowed them to start work on a Call of Duty project. But then Activision, maybe they had fears about how the Switch will sell. They had fears about the install base for the Switch. And then they told Beanox to wait until the Switch came out. And then they would decide again what to do with the Switch. Would they just stick with Skylanders or would they, port over a Call of Duty game? Maybe Activision, they wanted to wait to see whether the Switch would be a flop like the Wii U. And maybe they didn't want to waste money on developing a Switch game. Maybe Activision waited, and now that it has sold well, maybe they gave Beanox the green light to start work on a Call of Duty game. And now that it is too late for us to get Modern Warfare Remastered and this year's Call of Duty, maybe we will get Call of Duty 2018 instead. That is just a theory that I've currently got in my head. I'm sort of believing the first theory that maybe it took them a couple of years to then, port over the Call of Duty engine itself, and then maybe that took a year. This is just my theory. I don't have any insider knowledge at all, but maybe it did take them a year to port over the Call of Duty engine, and then they started working on Treyarch's Call of Duty. Or maybe Treyarch will work on a Switch version themselves. They pretty much made or ported every single Call of Duty game for a Nintendo platform. They even ported Infinity War games like Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 3 and Call of Duty Ghosts. And I do believe Call of Duty 4 for the DS as well. So they have a history of porting over Call of Duty games for Nintendo platforms. So maybe they will get a small team, kind of like what they had before with the small Treyarch team that ported over pretty much every single Call of Duty game for a Nintendo platform. Maybe that small Treyarch team that made Call of Duty Black Ops for the Wii, that made Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 for the Wii, that made Call of Duty 4 for the Wii, Black Ops 2 for the Wii U, Call of Duty Ghosts for the Wii U. Maybe that small Treyarch team is still existing, and maybe they will make the next Call of Duty game for the Switch, or maybe Treyarch will get another small team to make a Switch version, or maybe the main Treyarch team will make the Switch version themselves. That would be a really good thing if that happened. We've never really seen that sort of thing on a Nintendo platform. Pretty much beforehand it's either been a small Treyarch team or nothing pretty much. Even with Infinity War games, it's always been that small Treyarch team that has made or ported Call of Duty over to a Nintendo platform. But I don't think that is likely to happen. I think if we are to be getting Treyarch's next Call of Duty, then I think it will be from Beanox. I really do. But maybe what I've been talking about over the last 10 minutes is a load of old rubbish. Maybe Beanox, they haven't got a Switch dev kit, which I don't necessarily believe, but maybe they are working on a game other than Call of Duty for the Switch, and maybe Activision, are waiting because maybe they got burnt with Call of Duty Ghosts. Maybe they saw the sales figures for Ghosts on the Wii U, and maybe they thought, let's just wait and see how well the Switch will sell before we, commit to bringing over a game like Call of Duty over to the platform. And maybe now that the Switch is selling well, maybe they are currently scrambling. They are in panic mode to try and get a Switch version of next year's Call of Duty together to try and take advantage of the success of the Switch. And maybe they will see if Doom sells well. Maybe that will again force their hand, but I think their hand has been forced by the sales of the Switch, and maybe that situation is more likely than the situations that I've just talked about. But I believe my theory that maybe Activision, they wanted to get out a Call of Duty game for the Switch, but maybe they needed to get Beanox to port over the Call of Duty engine to make sure that it would work well both in docked mode and in handheld mode. And maybe they got some problems, getting the game to run in handheld mode, and maybe that is why, it is taking quite a while for us to get Call of Duty, and maybe that is why we haven't got a Call of Duty game this year. And maybe by them having an extra year to bring over the Call of Duty engine, maybe that is enough time for them to bring over Treyarch's next Call of Duty. So that's just my theory. I think we will get next year's Call of Duty. I would be really surprised if we don't. I think Activision are scrambling right now to try and get something for the Switch. I really, really do. And I think if games like Skyrim, if games like that sell really well on the Switch, then they will know that there is an audience for their games pretty much, because you're going to get people who want to play Call of Duty wherever pretty much, either on the train, plane, bus, car, on the park, even on the toilet. Do you know what I mean? There is an audience for that sort of thing. I honestly believe that there is those sort of gamers on the Switch. I think most people probably play their Switch docked, but I think a lot of people probably pick up a Switch purely based on the fact that they can play console games anywhere. So I think there is an audience on the Switch for playing Call of Duty anywhere. So yeah, my honest belief is that we will get next year's Call of Duty, but it's just my theory at this moment in time. It really is. I've got nothing to go off. Seriously, I'm literally going off nothing. This is just my thoughts, my opinions, and I just can't stress that enough. I could be completely wrong. I really could be wrong, and maybe we will not see Call of Duty appear on the Switch. And like what I said, I honestly, with the recent Call of Duties, I think Nintendo platforms have had a lucky escape. I don't think Advanced Warfare was that good. Black Ops 3 didn't really like that from the beta or beta. Infinite Warfare was Infinite Warfare. I don't really need to say anything other than that. And this year's Call of Duty, I honestly don't feel like it is as good as what people make it out to be. So I'm hoping that Treyarch's next Call of Duty will be to the standard that I like. It will be like a Black Ops 2. It will be like a Call of Duty 4. Modern Warfare 2 looked appealing to play as well. It will be like a Call of Duty Black Ops as well. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm hoping for next year's Call of Duty. And hopefully it will come out for the Switch. So like what I said before, this will be the last video that I will make on this topic, just because I will only just be repeating myself. I've already repeated myself in this one video. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to hear me repeat the same stuff in multiple videos. So that is why I'm not making another Call of Duty video again until I hear anything other than what we've heard right now. If we hear anything about Call of Duty 2018, which I know this video is premature to make when this year's Call of Duty hasn't even released, but I have been getting a lot of requests to make this video and to talk about what is happening with Call of Duty on the Switch. And the fact is, nothing is happening. We aren't getting Modern Warfare Remastered, unfortunately. I think that is out of the question now, just because like what I said earlier on in the video, I think that would have been announced in the previous Direct. And by the way, talking about Modern Warfare Remastered, maybe we got a lucky escape there as well, because I have heard really bad things about that remake as well. So, or that remaster, it's pretty much a remake because they are adding in new weapons with the supply drops. So yeah, that is just it for this video. And yeah, I will definitely make a Call of Duty Switch video when I hear anything else. But until then, this will be the last video. It's a flipping mammoth of a video. So hopefully you have enjoyed it. And yeah, that's just it for this video. And I will see you next time.